Greetings, greetings, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on what time of the day it is for you. I am so excited about this morning's broadcast. I'm not sure what is happening on my TikTok. However, we're going to be rocking and rolling. Good morning, greetings, greetings, welcome, welcome. I am Dr. Daphne Clarke-Hudson. I am a spiritual healer. I am your why and soul purpose coach, consultant, and mentor. I am very excited to come this morning to be with you, and I am going to be doing something a little non traditional this morning. I am going to be playing a 30 minutes audio for you because as I invest in my life daily and as I find materials that I know will be beneficial to you, I want to bring it to you. All right. So if you are not already subscribing to my YouTube channel, kindly do so. You can click on the link tree, and you can go into my platform and subscribe to YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And if you forget all of those, I am Googleicious, so you can Google me and find me so that you can add value by listening to my content. All right. This morning, I don't know if my moderators are here yet. However, this morning, we're not going to block anybody today. I'm cleaning my environment. We are not going to block anyone today because they can do with the positive energy of the music. So I don't know if any of the moderators are here yet. So for those of you that are here, you can please let the moderators know that we are not going to be blocking anyone today. All right? Unless the Spirit tells me otherwise, we are not blocking anyone today because I know that they need what is going to happen here. So we are going to leave them. We are not going to block them. So as you listen, I want for you to kindly tap the screen and share the live. Listen, you cannot be putting your cash app. You cannot be putting your cash app in my live. Please do not do that. All right? You cannot be doing that. That is very disrespectful for you to do. All right? You cannot come in somebody's live and be posting your cash app. Don't do that. All right? So let us rock and roll. Let us rock and roll. For those of you who have seen the title of today, you're going to be listening. You're going to be listening to. You're going to be listening to a 30 minutes video. And let me give you some insight before I start before I start the audio. Okay? The power of music to affect the brain. Science all but confirms that humans are hardwired to respond to music. Studies also suggest that someday music may even help patients heal from Parkinson's disease and stroke. In The Power of Music, Elena Manis explores how music affects different groups of people and how it could play a role in health care. Manis tracked human relationship with music over the course of a lifespan. She tells NPR's Neil Cannon that studies show that infants prefer constant intervals. The soothing sounding ones that sound nice to our Western ears, in accord as opposed to the jargon combination of notes. So when I found this information, I decided I wanted to come on and I wanted to play this recording for you so that you can get the benefit of it. So, end of that, we will also be doing the water therapy. So please get your water together. And now I'm starting the music. I'm starting the audio for you to listen. So please listen and we will talk off after that. Hello from the Fiji Islands, my sister. Here we go.
You're troubled by souls are hard to measure.
Well, I think the listener is right in pointing out that we have these deep responses to music, but I think we have to be a little careful about just thinking that music per se drives these responses. Clearly, there are great individual differences. It's our relationship with the music that drives this response. So a very clever control condition that Robert Satori did in his experiment on chills was he had everybody switch CDs. So the music that gives you chills may do absolutely for me, and vice versa. So clearly it's not just the structure of the music, because that is the same whether you listen to it or whether I listen to it. It's how we interact with it, what we get out of it, what we associate with it. So we may share this chills response, you and I, but that's not necessarily driven by the same music. So culture and learning have to play an enormous role in how we study music in the brain.
And go ahead, Ann.
No, I just wanted to add that I don't think any of the scientists who are very passionate about their work in this field want to take away from the magic of music, but if we really understand what lies behind it, it has so much potential. Music has so much potential to help us and to open up our lives in other ways beyond, just experiencing it as something enjoyable.
Let's get Alan on the line. Alan with us from Minneapolis.
Hey, thank you. My son had a traumatic brain injury about 3 years ago, and our neurological chiropractor has us playing French artist and a specific track on the CD to help him heal his brain. And another story is that I had a favorite song years ago. I used to play it every day, and I have cats. And one day the CD just skipped, and my cat looked right at the speaker right at the time. And, he had to have noticed. I mean, he looked right at the speaker right as it happened. So,
interesting. I'm not so sure about that. Well, maybe ask Ani Patel about that in a minute. But let's go back to the TBI and the specific track. What singer is it, or what musician?
I didn't ask, but it's a French artist, and I don't know offhand because I've never heard of it before. She actually just handed me the CD. We played track 11.
I see.
But that kind of goes to the universality, or but not necessarily my son's relationship with the music. She actually, the rhythm,
Well, I wanted to follow up with Elena Manis because you uncover there's speculation that in the future, and here in this case it's actively being used for therapy, but that prescriptions of music may become more commonplace.
Well, people are doing it. I certainly can't testify that it, as to its efficacy at this point, but it's certainly something that people are looking at and actually beginning to produce CDs targeting specific conditions such as anxiety, depression. Maybe Ani has some thoughts on that as well.
Yes, what I'd like to point out is that there's a kind of basic difference between using music as a listening kind of therapy, helping people relax and soothe emotions and lower stress, and music as an active therapy in terms of music making. There's actually a researcher in Germany, Eckhard Altenmüller, who has an Institute for Music and Medicine at the University of Hanover, and he's written how musical exercises can help people regain motor control after stroke. And he's shown through some very interesting studies that by learning to play a musical instrument, even a former non-musician who has weakness in a limb after stroke can regain a lot of dexterity and motor skills, and even more so than by doing the traditional kinds of motor therapies that are done after stroke, because music it demands very precise motor skills, and it can be scaled. So you can start with very simple things like beating a drum and then work your way up towards playing short passages on a piano. And these things patients find this sort of enjoyable, as opposed to, say, tying your shoes or buttoning a button, or things that are kind of boring and frustrating even when you've had a stroke.
Ani Patel is president of the Society for Music Perception and Cognition and wrote the foreword to Elena Manis's book, The Power of Music, Pioneering Discoveries in the New Science of Song. You're listening to Talk of the Nation from NPR News. And I have to say, we have several emails along these lines. Emily in Cincinnati wrote us, is there any research on the effects of music on autism? I'm aware of music therapy for autistic individuals and others with mental disabilities. Does anyone know why or how that works?
Ani, do you want to?
Oh, yeah, I can just jump in briefly, and then you can mention your ideas too. I would just point this listener to the work of Pamela Heaton, Heaton, who works at Goldsmiths College in London, who's doing a lot of work with music and autism. Things that they found that's very interesting is it used to be thought that autistic people didn't necessarily have very strong emotional reactions to music because they don't verbalize about their emotions very much when they listen to music. But then when they actually attach physiological devices to them and study their responses, emotional responses physiologically, they see they have many of the same emotional responses to music. So music does seem to be getting in there and reaching them, and that has important implications for how do you connect with an autistic person if you're doing therapy or education or what have you.
Does it have something to do with the connection between the auditory system and the autoimmune system?
Well, between the auditory system and the emotion systems of the brain, certainly. I'm trying to remember, do you have something about autism in the book?
A little bit. The research seemed fairly preliminary to me, so I didn't write at length about it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I should say the autonomic nervous system and the auditory system is what I meant to say. Theories about a connection between those two systems that explain the effect on autistic patients.
I'm not so sure. I mean, one thing that is interesting, another thing that's interesting about autism and music is that there's apparently a very high incidence of absolute pitch among autistic individuals. And that requires an explanation how they're listening to music in a somewhat different way, it seems, than many of us, because absolute pitch is extremely rare among neurologically normal individuals, 1 in 10,000, they think.
Wanted to get to this email from Benjamin in Portland. Regarding your story about the dancing parrot, I live in Portland, and as any native would tell you, parrots are not the only dancing animal. The Portland Zoo holds concerts frequently. Next to the concert lawn is the elephant exhibit. During the music, the elephants sway and move to the music. In fact, Ani Patel, you know a little bit about that.
Well, that's a wonderful observation, because elephants are also vocal learners. They can imitate sound, so they do fit into this category of animals that we think may have this capacity for moving in time with a beat, as opposed to dogs or cats or horses or chimps that don't have this ability to imitate complex sounds, and we think they cannot learn. So that's a wonderful anecdote. I'd like to see that myself.
We have this comment from Carolyn, who writes, could this new research help stop the decline of music instruction in our schools? Most schools faced with budget cuts eliminate music and or art instruction, even though the connection between music and mathematics proficiency has been shown. Nationwide orchestras are being closed or consolidated. What will become of the civilized human without music instruction and exposure? Ellen Amanis, coming from your family, I would expect you would endorse that.
I certainly do, and it's one of my hopes that in a small way this book might encourage people to support music education in the schools. There are recent studies indicating that doing music, as Ani said, not just listening, but singing or playing an instrument from a young age does have some effect on other cognitive abilities, such as verbal abilities, cognitive abilities, spatial reasoning. This is not proven yet, but there's significant evidence that doing music at a young age when we're kids may have long-term effects on other skills.
Well, Ellen Amanis, thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure.
The new book is The Power of Music, Pioneering Discoveries in the New Science of Song. The introduction or the foreword written by Ani Patel, our other guest, the president of the Society for Music Reception and Cognition, with us today from KPBS, our member station in San Diego, and thanks to you.
Thank you.
Up next, the etiquette of air travel. Stay with us. This is NPR News. This is Talk of the Nation. I'm Neil Cummin in Washington. At some point, almost everybody's touched by music. The goosebumps from a haunting score in a horror film, the catchy tune that gets you up and dancing. Now, new research and new technology lets us see what's actually going on in the brain at those moments. In her new book, Ellen Amanis tackles a number of fascinating questions. Why does music have such power over our emotions? Why is it universal across all cultures? Does music provide some evolutionary advantage? Is music uniquely human, or do we share it with other animals? Is it hardwired? Did it come before language? And can music make us happier, smarter, and healthier? Our phone number is 800-989-8255 if you have questions about the science of music. Our email address is talk@npr.org. You can also join the conversation on our website. That's at npr.org. Click on Talk of the Nation. Later in the program, a fight in the close quarters of an airliner. Flight attendants, how do you police?
Okay, so I stopped the recording because that conversation was coming from the NPR radio, but I thought that was very interesting, and I want to invite my friend from South Africa. Hey, Queen, how are you? I want to invite my friend from South Africa, Giftus, to come into the room because I know he will have some insight on music. So for those of you that have kids that are diagnosed with any of those labeling diagnoses, consider putting music in. What I just played was the power of music and how it affects the brain. So they are saying that even the kids that are diagnosed with, those labels, you can start them out on playing the music from an early age, if it is even to beat the drums. And then you step them up. They are saying that music, they are researching and studying that music will even be able to heal Parkinson's disease and strokes. So guys, turn the TV off and explore and read, and you'll find out that a lot of the things that we are taking medication for, we really don't need to do that. So my South African friend, Giftious, if you would come in, I invite you, come into the chat, please come into the room, send a guest request. And Queen Sonia, I decided I was not going to block anybody this morning. All right. So I was cleaning the negativity. All right. So we are going to let them be. And you know I'm obedient to the Spirit. So if the Spirit tells me later on to block them, then we'll block them. All right? So anyone who wants to share your insight as it relates to music, kindly send a guest request and come into the chat. All right? So those of us who are island folks are African descent, you all know when we dance, we get into the music. And now as I dig deeper, as I delve deeper into understanding the impact of music on us as human, I'm getting a better understanding, because you know an island person or a person from the African descent, when we dance, every fiber of our being is involved in the music. So not only that we are getting enjoyment from it, but the therapeutic aspect of the music is really benefiting us unconsciously. And somebody called in on the call now, someone called in and made a mention of having the music playing and it stopped suddenly, and his cat looked at the speaker. And I can give a testament for that. I oftentimes, during my transition when I was relocating, I was using my tablet to play meditation music for Toby. And it relaxed him. And even now when I'm going out, because sometimes I travel for like 2-3 hours, and I leave the tablet playing with the meditation music. I leave like 10 hours or 8 hours music, so he would still hear that. So can you imagine if that's been beneficial for animals? Can you accept the impact that it has on our lives? So if you are just joining, we are talking about the power of music and how it affects the brain. Get your kids involved. Yes, the games are nice and everything, but why don't you begin to introduce music into their lives? Classical music. Introduce them to instruments. And I am sure that you will be pleasantly surprised on the impact that it will have on their lives. Anyone Welcome on YouTube. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. So let's get ready to do the water therapy. Let's get ready to do the water therapy. And go ahead on YouTube, type your comments. I'll read it so that the other people on TikTok can hear what you write over there. If anyone has been benefiting from music through any situation that you have encountered, please be kind to share that, because we are all in this together. We are all in this together. All right? So let's do the water therapy. I'm doing my best to keep these YouTube videos short. So please get your water. Bless your water. What is it that you desire? Are you looking for healing? Are you looking for clarity? Are you looking for strength? Whatever it is you desire from drinking your empowered water. Water has energy. And once we bless it, we are adding extra energy. So in other words, it is supercharged. I ask that this water will go directly throughout my entire body, from the crown of my head to the sole of my feet. It will touch every fiber, every muscle, every blood cell, every organ, every system of my body. And if there anything in my body that does not belong there, anything in my body that's not in alignment for my greater good, will it be washed out? Will it be excreted as waste matter from my body? I am now in gratitude for the optimum result that my body will experience. And so it is. I'll wait to see Ready over there. And when I see Ready, we will drink together. Those of you who are watching the replay, adopt this practice in your life. Let it be a part of your life. You do not need to be on my broadcast. Just adopt it and watch the transformation in your life. Get your children on it as well. Let it become a practice. And you will see a rebirth in who you are. I haven't seen anyone ready? Any readies? All right, I want to honor 30 minutes, so I'm going to go. I'm going to drink. Let's drink. And so it is. And so it is. So I'm excited. I got it to 30 minutes this morning, my YouTube video. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. For those of you who have not yet subscribed, kindly subscribe and tap in. Tap into tap into my YouTube channel. And okay. Hold on. Oh, give me a minute. Give me a minute. Oh, relax. I am. Okay. I made them. All right. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay, my apologies for that. So I'll see you tomorrow morning. Please share the live with somebody, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Subscribe to my YouTube, subscribe to my newsletter, and as always, it's a pleasure to see you. Love you guys. Bye. Okay. All right. So I